Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, yo, yo. All right, man. Enough for the enough for the Christmas stuff. Bleed. Yeah, man. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. And I don't think it's time for Happy New Year's just yet. Yeah. Okay. Can I go ahead and get started? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Omega Classic Records is the page and the name. Merry Christmas. I hope you guys have been having a great couple of weeks leading up to Christmas. Um, I've had a good one so far. It's been just a little tiresome, but nonetheless, I am here to deliver to you the news of the world, the news of some of your backyards, and the news of music. So, um, once again, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Omega Classic Records is the page and the name. Omega, of course, none rhymes greater. Um, I just want to remind you, if this is your first time showing up here, we're here to speak truth to light. We're here to challenge, lead, write, think, inspire, educate, build, fight, and dream, most importantly. Thank you. This is CrossFaded.
CrossFaded, 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 CrossFaded. Mad they never made it. Mad so now they hating. They bad for how they paid it. I'm just trying to make it, trying to hold my placement. Thanking God for the graces, watching for changing faces. Crossfaded, this is special occasion. Subjects hotter than Cajun, Andouille and Mason. Crossfaded, I'm just a duck in the pond. Shout out to Dorian, my reign has just begun. I be crossfaded, 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 crossfaded. Well, you ready? Let's start the show.
Yo, 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 yo. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Omega Classic Records is the page and the name. Omega TV, Omega Classic Records TV, excuse me. This is Crossfaded. Yeah. Y'all ready? All right, man. So what's been going on in the world? Well, what's been going on in the world, you guys, honestly, has been a lot of hate. And I want to talk about that tonight because it is what's up at the forefront is hate. What's happening to this country? Are we turning into a country full of hate, living on hate, thriving on hate, hate being a fad, hate being in fashion, hate being the new preoccupation. So man, so much hate. Ooh, let's get it. All right. So what do I mean when I say all this hate? Well, we'll start here. So, for starters, Rob Reiner and his wife murdered. My God. I'm sure that you probably have seen by now because I have been seeing it every day for, the past, maybe it's been like 4 days since the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. It unfolded day by day with more and more evidence as they continue to investigate. So it does look like the son is the person who's been charged and who is who is looked at as allegedly being the responsible individual to commit this double murder. He was living in the house with the parents, and there was evidence that was uh, flowing from different areas of the house. And when they found him, which was at a gas station, he had been residing at a hotel as well. I guess immediately after the events, and the hotel also had a lot of evidence that was flowing all through it in connection with the crime itself. Uh, Man, tremendously sad situation. I can't even tell you how tragic that is. I didn't know how responsible or how much Rob Reiner was responsible for so many classic films that have changed lives. You know, Harry Met Sally. Um, my God, you know what? I'll just go ahead and let you see this clip, and it explains not just his contribution to the arts of film, but also Whoopi Goldberg with a very fiery um, delivery of the information, and also addressing um, Ronald Dump, that had some stuff to say in the passing of Rob Reiner. So very, very sad, but we'll pull that up right now. Extremely sad situation, you guys. Give me one moment there. And this isn't just Whoopi Goldberg by herself. This is Whoopi Goldberg on The View. Check this out.
There was so much tragedy this weekend, it's hard to process. Tributes are flooding in after news broke last night of the apparent homicide of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Reiner. Rob became a star in the iconic sitcom All in the Family and went on to direct beloved movies like This Is Spinal Tap, The Princess Bride, A Few Good Men, When Harry Met Sally. And I was lucky enough to get directed by him in Ghost of Mississippi.
I just tell the truth.
He was also an outspoken activist.
I just tell the truth, and telling the truth
and quite a guy.
Crazy and
quite an amazing man. And then there's what happened in Australia. At least 15 people were killed in an anti-Semitic attack on the first night of Hanukkah at Australia's Bondi Beach. Leaders from around the world are denouncing this act of hate and praising Ahmed El Ahmed, who is the hero that confronted and disarmed one of the shooters. I don't know how to process
shooting at Brown College
this, because it just, and of course then there's the shooting at Brown.
At Brown University.
That was a
Brown
shooting.
University. I mean,
Pause for a moment.
It's each.
I'll be pausing what you're hearing now. My bad. I was trying to find my button, and it's my Jack Nicholson button. You can't handle the truth, but I couldn't find it. First shooting was the shooting of the first day of the Jewish holiday in Australia. And that's the picture of the guy that was running up getting tackled. Then the second shooting is the Brown College shooting with the kids that were in school during finals, and someone comes in and starts shooting. So, all right.
Thing in its own body is horrific, you know, and this is this, I don't even have words. I don't know what to say. So I leave it in your hands. How are you all processing this?
I mean, I didn't know Rob personally the way you did. I just remember watching him on All in the Family
right.
with Archie Bunker, and actually having a television show that aired out these issues that families have. You know, Archie Bunker was this sort of bigot, and then he's got this son-in-law, I think he called him Meathead, and they're having these difficult discussions that I had never seen on television before. But what what do you, I know I asked you a little bit this morning, Whoopi, but what can you share about Rob?
You know, just he was a friend. You know, I literally saw him the last time I did the Kennedy Center because we were honoring Billy. And this is when Billy got the Mark Twain Award. But we were, you know, we were together quite a bit. And he was a wonderful director and a guy who was a stand-up guy, you know. And he fought for the stuff that was right.
Yeah, he was such an activist. You know, I was reading about how he, you know, definitely helped to pass legislation about same-sex marriage, which was so important. Was helping pass legislation with educating our young people, you know, universal pre-K, things like that. And then I hate to put a downer on it and make it political, but President Trump texted yesterday and said, you know, a very...
Don't read it. Just tell him that it's there.
We're going to read it. Dump says a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star. He says once very talented, like he was no longer talented. Comedy star has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Go on.
Yeah, he talked about Trump, that he died because of Trump derangement syndrome. I just don't think that that's something that we should be hearing about. I think we should be saddened by the gun violence that we're seeing. I used to think that gun violence was just an American phenomenon, and now we see this sort of anti-Semitic attack in Australia
on the first day of
Hanukkah, which is so disgusting and disturbing. And then, you know, kids going to college at Brown in the middle of finals, getting murdered. What are those families going through? Why all of this sickness and hatred going around the world, not just
and
this
it's all
country.
awful in its own lanes. I want to speak to the Australia thing. We're seeing a massive uprising of anti-Semitism globally, but in this country, there's a divide on the right now, actually, whether Republicans want to embrace figures like Nick Fuentes, who is hates everyone, just so you know. He hates all of you, but he absolutely hates Jewish people, and it's not criticism of Israel. It's nothing you can apologize away. He's a bad dude, and people are giving him platforms. Tucker.
Pause for a second. I just want to take a second to thank everybody that showed up tonight. This is just off of pure YouTube notifications. We did not send out a mass text notification to our 47 CrossFaded member exclusive group. So those of you guys that did show up just off of pure YouTube notification, make sure you stick around because I have a gift, a Christmas gift that I'm going to send you. And I'll confirm that with you here in a little bit when we get through the news. But yes, I have a gift for all of those who showed up today off of pure notification. I feel like Slice is in the room. I think I got a presence of Slice being in the room. Slice, man, I love you to death, man. You, my brother, ride or die. You know what I'm saying? I need to check in with you to see how Pops is doing too, because I heard Pops had a little something going on over the past couple of days. But I got a gift for those who showed up off of just pure YouTube notification. All right, we'll continue.
Carlson has embraced him, and there are people denouncing him. But I think it's important to watch when you start normalizing this treatment of anyone. We've seen it in different forms, and right now, more than ever, this is on the rise. Australia, who has really strict gun laws, has seen 5 times the crimes against Jewish people than they have in the last decade. So there's a problem. The bell is being rung. I do want to also say that the hero Ahmed Al-Ahmad put his life on the line to attack a man with a very large gun. So it's so reassuring.
And got shot.
Yeah,
Shout
and
out
got
to that
shot and was
brother,
injured.
man.
But to know there are people like that in
God
the world,
bless that
that is
brother.
the reassuring part. But I would hope that the Jewish people hold on to what Hanukkah stands for. It's the lights, it's the resilience, it's the no one can dim us. And I hope they hold on to that today, because it's got to be extra hard.
When the Brown University news broke on Friday, I immediately called a good friend of mine who's got a son there. Her son was sheltering in place, terrified in his dorm room. That lasted for 12 hours. He is now home. The semester was over. They were in the middle of exams. But something that really hit me was there was actually a survivor, Zoe Wiseman, of the Parkland shooting in Florida, who was a student at Brown University. How much have we failed our youth that there are children out there who are now survivors of two mass shootings? And, you know, on Rob Reiner, I just want to say, one day I looked at my ex, and he had slipped into my DMs because he watches.
Rob Reiner slipped into your DMs?
Yeah, he watched news. He knew everything that was going on. At the same time that he was making brilliant film work, he was also deeply engaged. There wasn't a cause he didn't care about. He cared about immigrants. He cared about equality and justice. He spoke up in defense of democracy at a time when so many in the media industry, so many with a platform are afraid to speak. He put his money and his mouth where his heart was. And for Trump to have put that out today, I'm going to say it. You know, damn it, there's an American family grieving.
Yeah.
This is a tragedy, not just for the family, but for all who knew and loved him. And for the President of the United States to make this about him and a way to attack Rob Reiner because he exercised his American right to speak up with what he disagreed with is shameful, is disgraceful. And out of all the disgusting things that Donald Trump has done, this is right up there.
Yeah.
And I would simply echo that all of these are.
Listen, it's called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore.
And it works?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe it. My
Roll past
Tragedies in their own right, and I don't want any one tragedy to take away from the other, but I was really struck over the Bondi Beach shooting just because so many of my closest friends happen to be Jewish, and there's this feeling of on the first day of Hanukkah, they are Jews on this world, not just our country, are sensing something that they are begging their friends and their allies to feel too. There's an incredible stat from the ADL that says in the US alone in 2024, there was a 344% increase in anti-Semitic attacks. But this is a global phenomenon. And I remember being, I went to Auschwitz with Vice President Pence and the former Polish president. And I remember leaving and asking a distant family member, how could the Holocaust have happened? I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And I hate to say that 5 years later, I can see it. I see an indifference to hatred. I see an indifference to bigotry. And I see an indifference to the horrible alarm bells being rung about anti-Semitism in our world. And I'm begging people to care. And as you made the parallel, which I think is important, about this Parkland survivor now being in another school shooting, a Holocaust survivor was killed. Like, the world has failed these people. If you survived the Holocaust and you are gunned down by an anti-Semite decades later, it's not right. And my prayers.
You gotta realize how crazy that is right there. The craziness to be a Holocaust survivor, to get through all of the evil from Hitler's regime, and no telling where that man had been, what camps, Auschwitz, it was many death camps. No telling how many family members he lost, to turn around and in later life be murdered in a mass shooting.
Are with all of the people grieving right now.
You know, it's
Unbelievable.
if we can wrap our minds around the awfulness of these things, then we can open our hearts to all the people who have had to deal with this. All the women, all of the men, all of the people of color, all the Jews, all the folks who have had to deal with this struggle. I don't understand the man in that White House because he talks so much about Charlie Kirk and caring. And suddenly, this is what he puts out. Have you no shame? No shame at all? This is can you get any lower? I don't think so. And what do you have to say about what's happened around the world? Where is our voice as Americans? Somebody's got to speak up for us. Our hearts are breaking through all of this. Through Rob, through what's happened at Bondi Beach, what happened at Brown, and you don't find the time to say, as Americans, we hate what's happening. You ain't my president, man. I'm gonna make a correction here. As it turns out, yesterday, apparently, you know who put his condolences out to the people who are looking down at us from heaven and the folks at Brown. But this is how he followed it up.
About Rob Reiner.
About Rob Reiner. So, my bad, you did say something. Not what I would like to have heard from you, but you did do it, so there you go.
I noticed a lot of celebrities, and even Whoopi, you know, with that, with that statement there, you know, she was fiery somewhat, but a lot of celebrities are apprehensive, and it's the fear that he's developed in the professionals of the world, from political professionals to um, actors and talk show hosts like Whoopi and the good folks over there at The View, and even some musicians. But it comes down to Dump not being able to handle the truth about himself. He's listening to a group of people that are subservient to him, and a lot of them are not good people either. People like Hegseth, and it's an administration full of pedophiles and felons and boozers, booze hounds, and alcoholics. You know, do your research. Like, dudes was getting, you know, kicked out of positions early because he was hiring people into the cabinet without proper vetting. You know, I can't think of the one guy's name, but it was a guy that they brought in along with Hegseth. They brought him in at the same time, and they were going through a team. The administration has a team called the transition team, and this is real, you know, political terminologies for the teams that work at the White House that transition political figures like Pete Hegseth, who was in a senator position. I don't want to say it because that's not correct, but some kind of political cabinet in a local format, and he was working with the transition team to come into the White House, into the, I believe he's a Secretary of Defense. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So, but going through the transition team, some of these guys were getting discovered by their records. Like the one guy who I think he had like 2 sexual assaults and two essays and 1 rape. I can't think of his name, but he was coming in with Pete Hegseth. So they were just like scraping the bottom of the barrel, putting their team together, this cabinet. So there's so many of the worst. And you have to be honest about that. When I ask myself that, really, it's no different than the streets. How? Look, I lived in the streets most of my life. So when you in the streets, you don't want to be around dudes that's soft, dudes that ain't, you know, going to take action, dudes that's not going to pull triggers. So what do you do when you don't have a team? You know, this is footnote under that, this is why dudes will go join gangs and all that type of shit. But back to my point, what do you do in that situation when you come into the street, you by yourself, you build your team out. Look at 50 Cent in the movie Get Rich or Die Trying. It, loosely based on his story, but look at when he went into the process of building his team. He found one dude that was the wheelchair dude, who was intelligent dude. I think what was he good with? He was good with numbers or something. Then he got the big dude. Big dude was the muscle, and they showed a clip of him. I can see it in my head. He's running across the street and 50's narrating the movie. He's like, yeah, such and such is good with muscle. Duh, 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 duh. Then he go and get the other dude that he was in jail with. You know what I mean? No, he's building a team before he goes to jail, but then he brings dude when he goes to jail that saved his life in jail into the team because he knew dude was a killer. His name was Bama, played by the brother who played Lucius Lyons. Can't think of his name to save my life, but his name was Bama, and he saved 50 in jail in the shower stabbing incident. So 50's building this team full of dudes who are not only hustlers but have other attributes: killers, numbers, muscle. So you looking at that with your administration, they going and scraping the bottom of the barrel in politics and political figures to find the worst people they can find that'll roll over, that'll do whatever, they're told to do, that'll, just, execute by command. So, Slice is in the house. He is in the house. Slice. Go ahead and text the Classic Records line so that the my admin can remember to send you this gift, because I let her do all of that. That Classic Records line is right here on the screen. 509-0464-317. Text that line now, Slice, and put your address and info in there. Because I got a person that helps with that and kicks all that stuff out. But back to your comment. What was Slice's comment? If you guys could throw it back up there again, text that line, Slice, so I can send you your free gift. I don't work with yes men. Yeah, man. I've never had a desire to. My thing with working with a group of people was everybody working together. You can't work together if you control people. If you're controlling them, and then you're controlling the narratives, you're controlling the process, that's not working together. That's called dictation. That's a dictatorship. Big difference. So this, I wanted to play that segment. It's the longest segment that I've ever played on this show, but it's because it was three stories in one. You had Rob Reiner and Mrs. Reiner. You had the two shootings, one at Brown, the other one in Australia for the Jewish holiday, and yeah, 3 and 1. So very unfortunate. I love how The View called it. I love their empathy, their passion. Everybody's frustrated and tired. Nothing that this man is doing is really carrying the nation. What it's doing is just escorting a new level or a new low of hatred. And that's what we're seeing right now. So, boy. Yeah, man. So, next on the menu, Chicago, man, is going through some crazy stuff right now. And what's happening with Chicago? Chicago is locking up gun owners right now that are licensed gun owners. Licensed gun owners that have done everything that they're supposed to do, that have their lifetime licenses, and have followed the rules. Insane, absolutely insane. But here's more about that situation from CBS Chicago. Give me 1 second and I'll throw that up there for you.
Lucid Blink knows every second counts. But how do seconds saved get ideas made? Lucid Blink.
I am a concealed carry instructor.
At the Eagle Gun Range in suburban Oak Forest, almost every seat is filled.
The best way for you to learn is to ask your questions.
The class cost $140. It's another $153 to the state to buy the coveted concealed and carry license, the CCL, giving the legal right to carry a gun.
And if stopped by law enforcement for any reason, if they ask if you have any weapons in the vehicle, answer honestly.
Lewis McWilliams took a class like this, passed it, got his CCL, and bought this 9mm pistol.
How you doing, boss?
So last April, when Lewis was pulled over for a traffic violation, he did exactly what he'd learned in class.
You're legit. You bought the gun legally. Answer honestly.
Okay, where's your firearm? On my side. Okay, you got your concealed carry license?
I played by the book. I did things the right way.
And it didn't matter. Even though Lewis handed officers his valid CCL, when they couldn't find it in the state's computer, they did this. He was charged with 2 felonies. After months in and out of court, prosecutors who initially signed off on the false charges eventually determined Lewis's CCL was valid, so they dropped them. This was little consolation to Lewis.
No matter how much you follow a system of which they create, they can still deem you wrong.
Lewis is among the black gun owners CBS News Chicago investigators discovered who had valid CCLs.
I am concealed and carry.
But were still charged.
Just watch your head.
Only to have their cases dismissed.
Who brought their gun with them today?
How often have innocent gun owners faced charges that were ultimately dropped? It's a question we can't answer because neither the Cook County State's Attorney's Office nor Chicago Police track the cases. Lewis is now taking legal action.
I feel like my rights was violated.
We have earned the right, more than anybody in this country, to carry a firearm. We fought for this country when we weren't even citizens.
Phil Smith is the president of the National African American Gun Association and says others should follow Lewis's lead.
File a lawsuit and follow through on the lawsuit. If a police chief has 4 or 5 lawsuits, $4 or $5 million, they're going to get a call from somebody to say, hey, start treating those people differently.
We're going to have to make some changes.
Our investigation also caught the attention of Illinois Representative Jehan Gordon Booth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
She represents downstate Peoria and has championed a groundbreaking bill.
The work represented in the measure gives me great pride.
It offers certain offenders with nonviolent criminal records a chance to have their cases automatically sealed, removing them from public view. But in the cases of the drivers we featured, they never should have had criminal records. They were dealt a major injustice.
Oh my God, y'all are so bogus.
Like Lewis, Lucy Washington faced a felony she didn't deserve, and this mugshot stayed on her record long after the charges were dismissed, nearly wrecking her real estate career.
My mugshot showed up on Google right next to my property address. You know, that was an embarrassing moment, and around that time, I did end up losing out on the deal.
All of this because of illegal everything.
If I was innocent from the beginning, why would I have to go and clean and expunge a record?
We're now talking about individuals that they didn't make a mistake. A mistake was thrusted upon them. That, to me, is a completely different set of facts and circumstances that has to be addressed.
Her suggestion, a bill that would provide wrongly charged gun owners with automatic expungement the moment the case is dismissed.
It should be removed.
Pause. I want to go back. I want you to see that picture right there in the middle. See that guy in the middle right there? What I didn't show you was his particular arrest clip. And it's not in this news segment. The CBS News Chicago segment did not cover his arrest. but I have another video. I'm not going to pull it up at this time, but he's going to be an individual that really turns this situation upside down. Looks like a regular brother, right? Well, he was pulled over and put through the same process as the other two people on either side of him, and he relinquished the pistol. He gave his license, and they still locked him up. Well, they made a bad mistake because this guy turned out to be a senator. We'll continue.
Expungement, the moment.
And that's him in the middle. If I got the position wrong, if he's not a senator, he's a statesman. He's in there with a political seat inside of the local government cabinet. I believe senator though, which shocked me because when he gets out the car, he's got like hoodie on and just looked like a regular brother. But nope, he was a political figure.
The case is dismissed.
It should be removed. Hard stop. It should be removed. And they should not have to pay a lawyer to do it.
Gordon Booth says it'll take time to develop such a bill, but she believes these cases deserve attention because there could be many more like them.
So disrupting my life didn't mean anything to them officers, and until something comes where it rattles their cage, I think that's the only time they're going to pay attention and say it meant something.
Dorothy Tucker, CBS News, Chicago investigators.
So this news, I would say, is about 3 days old as well. So this is a very, very fresh issue that is happening in Chicago that Black Chicago residents are dealing with. Crazy stuff is happening. You got a lawless administration, people going to jail left and right for nothing, and you're going to start to see a lot of this manifest more and more as we continue throughout this next 4 years. Just a whole lot of lawlessness, stuff that doesn't make any sense, and they're going to just leave it up to a kangaroo court of a bureaucratic process. So you're going to go to jail for something that you didn't do, for a crime you didn't commit, and then you're just going to have to sort it out. Yeah, you'll walk because you didn't do anything. Yeah, you might get a lawsuit, XYZ, but let me tell you, you can burn through cash just going through that process. And they know that. That's why they want to put you through it, because you're burning through cash to combat something that they know you're going to beat. But it just brings the possibility of, you making another mistake inside of this false criminal, charge or criminal situation. And it literally kind of works out to be like a catch-22, but luckily these three folks that you saw are professionals. One guy being a political figure, another lady being a realtor, and another guy just being an entrepreneur. So it says two things. It says that they're targeting Black folks for sure, one, and it says for two that it doesn't matter if you're a completely legitimate Black person either, too. So hey, all I can say, man, is get your raincoat. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about to get wet if it ain't wet already. Yo, so far, that's a lot of hate, right? Well, you guys ain't seen anything yet. Stick around. I'll be back in 2 ticks quicker than a New York minute. This is CrossFaded.
The cast of Amontillado, they buried me, left me for dead inside the walls that's hollow. Now follow, they didn't take into account my year, make, and model. My God rise like a phoenix, and I got you. Robbers. These suckers mad, flaring at the nostrils, non-volatile, but you can order from me. I'm conjugal with the beat, the greatest that you. What's my motto? I get the 7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow. Sight, this ain't no 8 Mile shit, but you can get split like coconuts in Hindu rituals. Flagrantly habitual. These niggas is criminal. I get cynical when discussing them because they skills is loving the feeling when I'm on stage, engaged to rock the mic. I ain't new to this. This shit took time, not overnight. Hella times at night I got no sleep, but still I write. My pen gotta be line for line through my plight. Cold as ice, unmeasurable might like a mic. Mama said you fall, come back twice as hard, alright? Yeah, she always laid out the facts for me. Now what I want you to do is clap for me. Clap for me. Hitting you hard like big, ready to die shit. Everyday struggle, but still I win, sky's the limit. I'm back like Pac after the 5 shots. What didn't kill me made me weaker, nigga? I think not. Man, I laugh at you motherfuckers. Open season, this is class in this motherfucker. Break out your pen and pad in this motherfucker. I'm the professor, here's the math in this motherfucker. Night or day, I practice to keep the blicky with me. Cause niggas iffy, low down dirty, grimy and shifty. My onyx logic embedded in code in my mind's M1 chip, compatible memory. Are you hearing me? Naturally, I'm programmed to defeat foes. Love women and curse hoes and roll with the punches life throws. It's ice cold on the boulevard, but my wits and my gifts from God make me loving the feeling when I'm on stage, engaged to rock the mic. I ain't new to this. This shit took time, not overnight. Hella times at night I got no sleep, but still I write. My pen gotta be line for line through my plight. Cold as ice, unmeasurable might like a mic. Mama said you fall, come back twice as hard, alright? Yeah, she always laid out the facts for me. Now what I want you to do is clap for me. Clap for me. I flow greater than your navigator. I rhyme harder than your Dodge Charger. Candy paint 26s and all. Harder than Steven Seagal and above the law. Harder than Jordan with the flu game in Utah. Harder than Snoop Dogg murder was the case. Harder than DJ Screw tapes from the Texas state. Harder than Red in Memphis going to how high with the wake and bake. Harder than Suge Knight slap vanilla ice in the face. Hitting you hard like big, ready to die shit. Everyday struggle, but still I win. Sky's the limit. I'm back like Pac after the 5 shots. What they can kill me, maybe weaker, nigga? I think not.
But it's time to move. It's time to move. Here's the truth. There's your stuff. Pick it up. And put your stuff on the truck. It's a work in progress, mommy. It's a work in progress. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
There you go.
CrossFaded. CrossFaded.
Time to move. All right, so if you thought that I couldn't get any lower, I'm gonna get a little bit low, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit low. Yeah, get ready because this is about to get pretty low, you guys. As much as I hate to say it. Like I said, man, we are in the season of hate. 'Tis the season of hate, man, and it just doesn't look good. It's not a nice look at all. it's pretty doggone bad. So then we'll talk about what we can do individually about it. But this story is a pretty rough one, and it also is a Midwestern story, just like the Chicago story. It's in close quarters to the Midwest, which is my region. So it's about some professional white men who have been plotting and planning on a pedophilia ring. Take a listen.
2 young men received life sentences with the possibility of parole after pleading guilty to killing a retired police chief. Jesus Ayala.
That's actually the wrong story. Let's fix that.
Did you know that nearly half of U.S. TV streaming time is on Roku? With Roku's new self-service ad tool, it's easy to set up your own.
Some of the stuff in this criminal complaint about child pornography that I can't even say on television. This is a sickening case, and I'll tell you more about it coming up.
A house damaged by a fire, a mother grieving. I'm Lauren Edwards here in Detroit with how you can help the family get through this difficult time.
I'm meteorologist Rich Lubman. Finally, a thaw for southeast Michigan. These are your current numbers, and we're going to get even warmer over the next couple days. We'll check those readings for you just ahead.
Working for you. This. Professionals arrested on child pornography charges. They include a Detroit area doctor and attorney who are both in federal court today. Let's get live to Fox News' Charlie Langton in Detroit with the new details. And Charlie, I think you said it in the tease. Some of these details are so sickening, so gross, they're hard to even repeat.
Yeah, in fact, I can't even say some of this stuff on television. I'm holding up 3 of the criminal complaints against 3 very prominent, a doctor, a lawyer, and a psychotherapist, all from the Metro Detroit area. But they got caught up in an FBI sting that actually got them arrested in Toledo. And what they found when they raided their houses, 155 images of child porn, including movies and pictures of the most disgusting things that you really can think of. And there may very well be more. Now, 2 of the 3 were in court today, in federal court behind me, for what's called a detention hearing, meaning that the feds thought these people were so bad they should be denied bond. One of them said, okay, I'll stay in jail. The other one said, let's have a hearing. The judge said, no, you're staying in jail. Why? In part because some of the bad stuff that came out, including this. Take a look. According to the criminal complaint, encrypted phone messages showed 45-year-old Joshua Ronenbaum was an English teacher in Japan who invited 10 and 12-year-olds to get naked with him and play with their, well, you get the message. The FBI seized his phone, which showed 155 images, including a toddler being sexually molested by an adult man, and numerous conversations discussing his sexual interest in children. And then Jeremy Brian Tacom, 51 years old, who lived at the same Palmer Woods address with Ronenbaum. The FBI seized his phone that contained an exchange with an undercover agent, something like this. Wish we could find a kiddo and have our way. Take him to a motel and molest him. F yes, brother. Are you free tomorrow? Any more clips? 6 additional clips were sent showing an adult man sexually assaulting a toddler. And finally, Lincoln Erickson. Dr. Erickson is a medical doctor who lives in Farmington Hills. The complaint indicates that he's currently on probation for domestic violence for an incident in 2024. His phone indicates he discussed plans to travel to Thailand to sexually abuse children, and the details about his friend, who is a father to a 3-year-old who Erickson allegedly sexually abused, forcing the 3-year-old to perform a sex act. Now, one of the attorneys, Joshua Zucchi, representing one of the defendants here, said, don't prejudge the evidence. A lot more will come out, and we expect that to come out. However, these are criminal complaints. I understand that there's a grand jury that may very well come down with indictments, and if they do, there could be more charges than what's actually in here. One last thing. Child pornography is kind of general. One of the charges in here, if convicted, the maximum is 20 years in prison. But there is a minimum sentence of 5 years. And for these three prominent people with no criminal record, a minimum sentence, if they're convicted, they're innocent now, would land them in prison for a minimum of 5 years. Stay tuned, as we say. I'm live outside the federal courthouse. Roop, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, that was a lot to take in and to hear. And so I'm just trying to be clear about this. How much of it was child porn and how much of it was actually action that was done against children?
He's going to say that none of it was actions done to children and all of it was child pornography. But one of the alleged abusers went to Thailand and was able to broker a situation with a toddler's parent, and he brags on it through text or email or whatever that format of communication he was having with the other two guys. So these three guys, professionals, a doctor, I forgot the other two guys' professions. It doesn't matter because I don't think they're going to have their professions any longer. But, you know, high power professionals, and these guys are getting together. These guys are trying to come up with a way to go and satisfy their sick needs that they, you know, want to satisfy with children. This is in Detroit. This is in the Midwest, you know, right next door to, you know, my state, right next door to Chicago that we just got through talking about, you know, and yeah, unbelievable story. So all I can say about that, man, is if you have children, make sure you keep an eye on your children. Make sure you know who they're dealing with. Make sure that you know the professionals in their lives, their teachers. Make sure that you've done the proper investigatory process to their doctors and health people. Man, it's a lot of people in the medical field over the last few years that have been caught in this situation too. When I think about it, it's just crazy. And they're like some of the most trusted people. Like the guy, I can't think of his name, but he was like the USA gymnast doctor. And he has like decades of abuse with those girls in gymnastics. There's another doctor that was like at a university recently. Is it Ohio State? I can't think of what college, but we'll put it in the edits. But yeah, he recently was also brought to light, and they did a big expose on it, maybe 2 or 3 of them. These medical people, man, are really starting to pop up as abusers, of the children that they are supposed to be making sure that health-wise they're able to, play the sports and do the things that they need to do as healthy children. But nonetheless, keep an eye out on this story. And whenever there's an opportunity as a person watching, they may say, call the local legislation, because be honest about it, one of these guys may not get convicted, because when you have the financial fortitude, you can skirt systems, you can skirt the legal system. Okay, so these 3 guys can pool their money together, and get good attorneys, because they're probably going to be co-defendants. I don't think they're all 3 going to go up separately. 2 of them may go up together at the least, because they were in collusion together, and that's how law usually works when you're working with other individuals. Often you all get charged together, and then you turn into co-defendants. So these guys may be going up to face the same judge together as a 3-party or a 2-party, and then they can pool their money together and pay for that attorney and pay to, skirt that charge in that situation, being that there's no actual physical violations that have occurred, that it's mostly just digital violations with pictures and communications. So, and of course the alleged story, but that's in Japan. There's nothing that United States, local law enforcement can do about that. So yeah, man. Season of hate. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, I ain't done with you, Santa Big Baby. I got some more. Okay, as unfortunate as that sounds. All right, so the next story. Kids love video games, right? Right. But these kids love their video game way too much. So much so that they decided to take it outside. All right. I'll go ahead and let you see it. Let the video roll. Give me one moment there. All right. Again, this is taking GTA outside.
2 young men received life sentences with the possibility of parole after pleading guilty to killing a retired police chief. Jesus Ayala and Jameer Keys in court for their sentencing today. Good evening, I'm Marie Mortera, both accepting a plea deal more than 2 years after a viral video showed the teens appearing to intentionally hit Andy Probst with a car as a 64-year-old was riding his bicycle. Our Kristen Drummond was in the courtroom and she joins us now live outside the Regional Justice Center. Kristen?
Marie, several of Andy's family members addressed the courtroom today, from his son, his daughter, and even his wife, all sharing that Andy has not been around for many moments over the last 2.5 years, and he will still not be here for those future moments, including walking his daughter down the aisle. They shared how this life loss has been impacting them, while also knowing that they will never get to see him again.
My husband deserved to live.
A courtroom filled with grief and accountability.
It was a harsher sentence because even though there's no sentence that could bring him back, at least it would be a start.
The family of Andy Probst speaking before the judge, not only about the loss, but the family forever altered.
Losing him did not just break my heart, it broke the foundation of my life.
Statements made during the sentencing for 20-year-old Jesus Ayala and 18-year-old Jameer Keys, the defendants who pled guilty to hitting the retired police chief from California with a stolen car in August of 2023 during a crime spree. Cell phone video recording the chilling moment. It shows the car approaching Probst on a bicycle, mowing him down Centennial Parkway and driving away after he hits the hood and windshield of the car. Police identifying Ayala, who was 17 at the time, as the driver, and Keys, who was 16, as his passenger and the one who filmed. The defendants accepting a plea agreement in the case. 18 years to life for Keys, 20 years to life for Ayala, the harshest penalty permitted under Nevada law due to both being minors at the time of the crime.
We do stand by our decision to accept the plea deals. We were talked to beforehand, so make no mistake about that.
Crystal Probst, Andy's widow, says they respect the law.
Choosing peace over prolonged suffering is not weakness, it is strength. We refuse to give them the power to reopen these wounds.
The defendants choosing to not speak in court, but Ayala's attorney made a brief comment.
He wanted this to be over, and the reason is because he is truly remorseful. He didn't mean to kill Chief Probst.
Their actions have shown who they are: cruel, heartless, and without remorse. They may be locked away, but the damage they have caused will stay with us forever.
The judge sentencing the young men to the terms of their agreements, but not before raising concerns about their actions, especially after Ayala's arrest. Police recording him in a patrol car making these remarks.
You think this juvenile gonna do something? I'll be out in like 30 days. What? Bitch. It's just a hit and run, slap on the wrist.
I am so offended by that conduct.
The two walking away as the case closes. Meanwhile, Probst's family works on their next steps.
How do you move forward from here? What are your next plans? I don't know about you guys. Well, I live my life in honor of my dad now. Everything I do is in his honor. So.
Yeah. And like my dad would say, tomorrow's a new day, and you just got to pick up where you left off and carry on.
Now, another bicyclist who was also hit that day but survived addressed the court, as well as another man who just called those acts pure evil. Now, both Ayala and Keys are eligible for parole in the mid-2040s. Reporting live outside of the Regional Justice Center in downtown Las Vegas, I'm Kristen Drummond, News 3.
Man, little dudes, this is not Call of Duty. You do not get shot and get back up again. You do not respawn on the last place that you picked up a life or a medical pack. You do not get to get extra lives from some kind of box that you ran across in the field. Everything is real outside. It's real jail time, real penalties, real police, your real life getting locked down and put behind metal and concrete. And you know, the stupidest thing of all about this situation, it's tragic what they done, but they're talking about it as they're yeah, let's, like one dude's like, pick up speed, whatever, yeah. The stupidest thing of all is that they hit a retired sheriff. I don't think I have a button to express the stupidity. I don't have anything to accommodate besides maybe this awkward button. That's not enough. There's really nothing much you can really say about how dumb that them two dudes are. And something else that really kind of pissed me off. The one little Hispanic dude got North Carolina tattooed on the side of his jaw. I'm like, why? I don't know any gang affiliations that utilize North Carolina as gang insignias or gang colors. And that really pissed me off because, I'm a huge North Carolina fan. Like I bleed a few colors, red and black and white, in honor of the Chicago Bulls legacy, and white, sky blue, and black in honor of UNC, Michael Jordan's alma mater. And why does this little dude have North Carolina on his face? It's the kind of stuff that once he shows up to prison and dudes are waiting for him, if he's not quick to join a gang, it's the kind of stuff where somebody will take and $150 across that. If you don't know what $150 is in New York, in their prison or penal systems, that's when a person takes a razor blade and they gang stripes for this in prison, and they slice across a person's face. It's called a $150. If you ever watched Oz before, there was a character named Omar, and he was a very great actor. God bless him. He passed away a couple of years ago. He also did Vice and did quite a few things. He was making his way, but that brother will tell you in a sit down he's had before about his experience with a $150, because he has a slice coming across from the middle, like to across his nose and face. But he did good in Hollywood. He was always playing like, he was typecasted as actors like that, a killer street dude, but he ended up advancing and doing more stuff throughout his career. But that's what a $150 looks like if you know about that brother. And with North Carolina insignias on your face and that kind of crime that you did, and brothers will just want to do that to him just because of the notoriety of the crime, just because it's local and semi-national news. Brother will be in there itching to give him the $150, and you a kid, you 17 years old, you playing GTA outside and think it's cool. Yeah, he definitely earned a big dummy slice. He definitely earned a big dummy for sure, for sure. I think this week, if I was to give a big dummy, because I don't have one prepared, it would have been Ronald Stump because of his comments on Rob Reiner and family. But this little dude absolutely earned himself a big dummy. So yeah, man. Crazy. GTA outside. Kids, don't do it. um, the next thing on the menu, ladies and gentlemen, is a story that uh I do not have a video for, but I'm gonna tell you about it um directly from article. New York City, and of course, Ronald Stump has something to do with it. Man, you're not gonna believe this one. New York City has a bill on the table, and this bill on the table in New York City um, is about suicides. So, what's going on in New York City is um, they are trying to pass something called the Medical Aid in Dying Act. Okay, so it's the New York's Medical Aid in Dying Act. All right, so every year, thousands of Americans grapple with excruciatingly painful terminal illnesses. For many individuals, the thought of their lives being unnecessarily prolonged is just terrible, abhorrent. On May 23rd, New York became one step closer to allowing terminally ill patients to end their lives with New York State Assembly Health Committee's passage of the Medical Aid in Dying Act. So that was in May. Okay. But the bill, I believe, is recently passed as of, I can't find the date, but I feel like it's this week, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's this week, because the governor in New York, her name is Kathy Hochul, Hochul, says she reached a deal with the state legislative leaders to approve a bill to give terminally ill people the legal ability to end their own lives with prescribed medication. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said Wednesday, so this is just this past Wednesday, that she has reached a deal with the state legislative leaders to approve a bill to give terminally ill people that legal ability to end their own lives with prescribed medication. My goodness. Dr. Dev Kevorkian was trying to do this years ago, if you remember that name. And he was a guy who um, came up with the idea and started to practice it with people who, of course, um, applied to him for it. I think he's still in prison, or he might have died in prison. But guess what, Dr. Kevorkian? Now, shit, you would have made a mint. You would have been in fashion right now. It would have been all good, brother. Lord have mercy. And I opted in the Albany Times Union. Hochul said that she supports the proposal, but has made an agreement with lawmakers to include guardrails, so to speak, in the measure before she signs it into law. Hochul, a Catholic, excuse me, said she came to the decision after hearing from uh, New York population, New York citizens, um, in the throes of pain and suffering, as well as their children, while also considering opposition from individuals of many faiths who believe that deliberately shortening one's life violates the sanctity of life. Holchel says, I was taught that God is merciful and compassionate, and so must we be, she wrote. This includes permitting a merciful option to those facing the unimaginable and searching for comfort in their final months in this life. A dozen other states and the District of Columbia allow medically assisted suicide, according to advocates. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed legislation Friday that will allow terminally ill residents of that state to choose to end their lives. Wow. Wow, dude. Um, so you can now go to New York City to end your life. Um, man, I really don't know what to say about that. I understand pain and suffering. I understand, and I haven't had pain. I've been blessed to not have to go through that directly. Um, but my father suffered from a lot of pain, and um, so I can understand watching someone go through that and them wanting to stop that. Them wanting to. Uh, it was unbearable, and they were, just struggling to live. Stand. But I think what people need to understand is that you're just a man. Whether you like it or not, that's a play on playing God. You're not God. Now, I've come across a lot of uh, situations where that's man, it's tough to swallow to see someone in pain. I understand that, man. Okay, but make no mistake. It's a not your job situation. It just isn't your job. Um, all throughout history, there's been things that, uh, as people, we've done where we have stepped on God's toes. You know, um, I know some people say, we need executions, we need, lethal injections, we need, we've been executing people for a long time, all the way back, in the days of, early executions, when you go to medieval era and they're using guillotines, firing squads, or a simple axe to the neck. We've been playing God for a long time, you know. Um, I still don't think that it means that you can say the state or the country. I still don't think that it means you can make that call. I still think that having that issue on the table and making that call is a political stance. It's something that is driven by politics and driven by finance, money in some form or fashion. Don't be mistaken just because you're seeing this story and it's all about this local government or this state government having pity or having remorse for people who are in pain and suffering. You best believe that there's a financial aspect to it, and that financial aspect, I'm sure, outweighs the empathy. So um you know we know people that's been in pain. Slice, your dad is in pain now, and or wrestling with something that brings intermittent pain. To my man Slice, my good friend. But nonetheless, I doubt if Slice would want that to be a decision that he would make. or that he would want his dad to make. I'm just not for it. I can't support it, you know. Um, if support it, then you do. But just understand the cost. Understand that you'll never know the cost until you're gone. You're not going to know it while you wake up tomorrow or next week or next month. But once you're gone and you no longer walk this earth amongst the living, there's another system and there's another set of checks and balances, and there's another entity that you got to answer to. What that looks like, I don't know. Nobody knows. Some people that have said they've come back from near death experiences can, give you some insight maybe if they weren't dreaming, but is it really worth it to find out and doing that here and finding out there? Yeah, I don't think so. So God bless those in pain. Um, and God bless those that are, just combating illness the best that they can to get through. Um, it's really nothing more I can say in terms of, because I can't end that statement with, hey, stick it out, or it's just not my place. All I can say is fight, you know, fight until you can't fight no more. But fighting no more doesn't mean that you sign a piece of paper and somebody can go push a button and that's done and done. So, yeah, man, we in some times. We in some times. We in some times. Lord have mercy. All right, y'all. Give me 2 ticks and we'll be right back with some lighter stories. We're going to pick it up now. But you see why I said, the season of hate. Look at all that, man. Just look at all that all around us, all around you, coming through, pouring through the news, pouring through your phones, your TVs. Keep that in mind, that it's close. It's over your shoulder. The breath of hate you should be able to feel coming across your neck because it's out there. It's right in front of your front door. There's one story I didn't cover just as a footnote, then we'll go to break. It was a woman in New York City. I think she's in Macy's. Today's Friday. This was probably Monday. And she goes into the bathroom to change her baby's diaper because she has a baby with her and she's doing Christmas shopping. And there had been a lady that was watching her throughout that shopping experience. The lady watching her sees her going to the bathroom, and that lady goes to the home section and goes and gets a kitchen knife from one of the butcher blocks in there that's on display. And she takes that kitchen knife and goes into the bathroom and commences to stabbing that lady multiple times while she's changing her daughter's diaper. This is a real story. You can look it up. This is in New York City at Macy's. And luckily, the lady's husband wasn't too far behind, and he runs in there and attacks the lady to stop her from stabbing up his wife and killing her. With that being said, the lady ended up surviving it, thank God. And they absolutely caught that lady. The husband pinned her down, and they caught her and took her to jail. But this is a lady and her baby shopping during Christmas at Macy's in New York, and just simply was changing a diaper, man, in the bathroom. And next thing she knows, she's getting stabbed up. Man, we are in that season. You got to understand something. A lot of the energy that's when it comes to the country, it comes from the top. You're talking about the administration, the government. Think about it. Think about when you had presidents like Barack in office, and think about the harmony that the country was experiencing. Even Bush Jr., think about when he was in there. Now, granted, it was rough, but he had 9/11 kind of patching his administration together and pulling through. And there was a lot of camaraderie during his office, during his tenure. But right now, it's like everywhere you look. Yeah. Yeah. So Just keep that in mind, man. And just stay alert and stay aware and watch out for your family. All right, y'all. Give me a quick sec. I'll be right back. This is CrossFaded.
It's not just music, it's classic.
Oh, shit. Okay. I got then I crash, prepare for tomorrow. Another day, your mathematics, automatics, money tactics, niggas bragging, bitches acting. That's just the life I live. 1 minute you on top of your shit, next minute you got a gun in your ribs. That's how it is. I'm Mega Man, kiss my pinky ring. I'm Naptown's Don. Or call me a miraculous phenomenon. I'm grade A, like Ruth Chris Filet Mignon. Every day I slang work from night until the morn. I gotta hustle. I'm neck deep up in the struggle. While you at home with your girlfriend playing snuggle, I'm on the highway playing smuggle in the bubble, making money like the Tuttles, all mind over muscle. Don't get it twisted though, I'm always watching, the type of nigga that never trust you. Don't make you, I will bust you. I'm a future nigga, eon flux you. Loaded lux you. You, bitch, nigga. Goats, big baby. Talking to the goat.
Yo, 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 yo. Oh. Yeah. Don't you stop me. All right. So,
6-0. I'm not no towering inferno, but I am invincible. Smooth
man.
with a microphone. You Pat Mahomes, I'm Tom Brady type.
Boy, music business news, ladies and gentlemen, in entertainment. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but it's been hip hop, y'all, is under attack. Hip hop is under attack. So, what's been going on in the music business situation with news? I don't know if you guys seen, but long running radio show, Ebro in the Morning, which was a Hot 97 radio show that had been running for about 10 years, was canceled. And it's unfortunate. I know. I was not an Ebro fan. Ebro is somebody who has been looked at as sometimes condescending, somebody who looked down on new artists especially. But Ebro is just a hip hop fan. He's a hip hop head, and on top of that, Ebro is a he's one of the frontliners in hip hop, in my opinion. Just because I'm not a fan of his show or a fan of him, that doesn't mean I don't appreciate his work and what he's contributed to the game. So it sounds very political as to why they canceled the show. Ebro feels like it has a lot of stuff to do with his perspective and views on not just hip hop, but also the state of the world. He believes even comments or some kind of exchange on air about Netanyahu, which is a political figure from, I forgot what country. Dump is dealing with him on quite a few things right now, but he believes it has a little bit to do with that, a little bit to do with just politics. But what we are seeing, independent artists, is that Ebro and his team are going to YouTube. So they changed the name, left the name behind because it was Ebro in the Morning, and now it's Ebro, whatever the girl's name is, and Rosenberg is the name of the show. Paul Rosenberg, because he was, it's a three person hosted show. So they have taken that show and taken it and carried it over to YouTube, and they're going to do great. They're going to do great, and they're going to get paid directly. And those viewers are just going to transfer over. They might pick up a lot of new viewership because of this transition and how it's gotten this national attention. But I'm gonna play a little clip to see what Ebro says about that exit. I haven't watched this clip. There was a clip that I was trying to find when he's in his car, and I believe it was like, I think he's sitting in front of the building that Hot 97 is, and he had walked out, got in the car, and began to just tell what happened. I can't find that clip. It was a great clip, but we'll see what he says in this interview here, which was just a day ago.
So you was all over the internet. I heard something happened to you on Friday. Do you want to tell the people what happened to you Friday?
I think it was like Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, but Friday's when the news went out.
Yeah.
I see
the company that owns Hot 97, they didn't want to do the Ebro in the Morning anymore.
How you feel about that?
I mean, I had talked about it a lot on the air over there.
But how do you feel about it now?
I feel great. I mean, look, I'm a family man.
Right.
So I think the part that hurts is the connection. Like a lot of people that's watching this, they don't listen to morning radio.
Mm-hmm.
They on the internet. And if they do listen to morning radio, salute. But a lot of people that's on the internet and social media, they're not like radio listeners.
Right.
And I'm a radio kid. I grew up in radio. I've been in radio since I'm 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been at Hot 97 since 2003.
Right.
In many different capacities. And I think, that audience that listens to morning radio, they're not on social media.
That's the 9-to-5 blue collar.
They might, if they, listen, these are teachers and firemen and construction workers
nurses,
and like working class people who wake up in the morning and they just trying to get a little piece of something, a song or two, talk some shit, laugh, know what's going on in the world. And you might have them for
an antidote of everything
15 to 20 minutes max.
Right.
They dipping in and out, listening to traffic, weather, and all that type of shit. So, look, I think that's the part of me that's like, damn, those people really meant a lot to me because that's one of the reasons I kept doing it. And if you're from New York City, you know what that radio brand means to this city. Like there was a certain pride, well, not just a pride that we all have at Hot 97 with the service that we provide over the years to the city. Beyond the music. Right? It's really a community thing. Like
commentary.
Yeah, but even more than that, everything from the tickets you give somebody to the club nights to the, like I said, getting them to work, letting them know what's going on in the city, letting them know that, what's going on in politics, letting them know about the corruption in the NYPD, letting them know, about, letting them know the truth about politicians. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's, we living in a time right now, man, where that's, they don't want those voices continuing to shed light, especially in local scenarios. I think if you look around the country right now, how many local
voices,
influential voices are being platformed? Because local politics is really where the shit happens, man. I know we spend a lot of time talking about the president and all this other type of shit. Local politics is really where the shit happens that could affect your life.
Ground zero.
Right? That could affect Eddie's life and his ability to put up the gate around his yard. You know what I'm saying? And potholes getting filled in and schools being good. You know what I'm saying? And making sure kids have what they need and the elderly have what they need and, that type of shit. So that honestly is like one of my passions in real life. So that's why I still did that show. Right? And so it wasn't like it paid any of my bills, really.
It was more so nurturing for the community.
That part, and it's rare that a morning show, me, Rosenberg, Laura Stiles, Shawnee, Juanito, Griff, Rasan, Cass, actually like hanging out with each other. So when you wake up at 5 a.m.
You with them for like 4 or 5
and you're
hours.
hanging out with people you actually like and that you care about, and you care about their families, and you care about the city that you live in. Like that shit is a blessing, bro. That shit was an honor. So I think that's what I think about the most.
I want to ask you something, man, because
Here we go.
I just want to be real, bro, because you kind of have this thing, a narrative that a lot of times we see with online personalities or famous people, and you're online constantly, so you see the narrative, and when you get let go, there's a portion of the internet that likes it, right? And
of course, as they should.
I like it.
I like that Ebro energy.
They love it.
You know what I'm saying? That shit, they was lit.
And they were very boisterous. And the narrative that goes around, and I'm gonna say some of them to your face, and you see them. I just want to say it so people on the show know we know about it. Things, you ruin New York hip hop. And then another thing says you're always hating on new artists. What is there? Those are the main two I see because you're my man. So to me, I'm taking it kind of personal, but I'm not gonna get in with strangers online.
But I mean, what? So the whole New York hip hop shit. If people really do the math on that, I accuse 50 Cent of that.
Which was I was about to go into that.
That was an accusation I leveled at 50 Cent.
What was that, 2000?
I don't even know how long ago. That might have been a decade ago.
Which is now your narrative, but what happened?
Because he spun it.
Yeah.
He was like, in the debate, I was like, yo, you ruined New York. He was like, you ruined New York hip hop. I was like, no, it was you, because nobody wanted to work together. And when you was at your hottest, at the peak, nobody in the city was working with you either. So not only did you make it so people didn't want to work together, but you made it so that the hottest MCs at that time
that you didn't like
was in your line of sight.
Right.
I just want to stop right there real quick. What he's referring to in this particular leg of the situation with 50 Cent, going back to the emergence of 50 Cent, there was a lot of just death around 50. 50 himself is shot 9 times before he gets signed to Aftermath. In fact, he signed with Columbia Records, and Columbia Records had not released an album. I think they released a mixtape, which was the Guess Who's Back. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, though. I could be wrong, but does Guess Who's Back come out on Columbia Records? Whatever the case, while he's laying up on the hospital bed, deathbed, quote unquote, Columbia's like, hey, we have to release you from your contract. You're just too dangerous. So during that period, I think Jam Master Jay dies, which is the DJ who discovers 50 Cent. 50 was putting out mixtapes and music work during that period, but he kind of brings 50 into the music world professionally. He's recording with 50. He was gonna sign 50 if he didn't sign 50 to his label and brand. So, but this is the a lot of the stuff you've seen in Get Rich or Die Trying with how 50's conduct was, it's reality. He was somebody, that a lot of guys did not want to mess with. Picture think of Get Rich or Die Trying and picture 50 in that scene where he's got that hoodie on and he's just walking down the street and everybody knows he's got a pistol in that hoodie pocket. That's like essentially, 50 Cent coming through that period of time, and it took for him to get discovered by a West Coast outfit, which would be, Aftermath, by way of a mixtape that finds Eminem. And then, he just, goes out there and works with them. And you never see anything with 50. Think about Get Rich or Die Trying. That whole album is like a wartime effort. When you play that album, he's going to war with Ja Rule on about 4 songs. I mean, he's just battle ready, battling. But again, this brother had been shot up and left for dead. He by all rights, had a lot of enemies in his territory. So, this was the way he was functioning. I don't believe he ruined New York hip hop because of that, but it does set the tone for a darker New York hip hop era. So that's the footnote of that particular point that they're speaking on with who ruined hip hop between Ebro and 50 Cent.
And that coincided with the demise of the record industry in general, because I was downloading and switching over to blogging and Napster, and all these other business things were actually happening.
Right.
But I just blame 50 Cent. And 50, I was on the phone with 50 Cent last week. 50's my guy. We still do this skit with each other. But the internet is gonna latch on to something that's gonna get engagement. And that narrative is something that's gonna get engagement. So, I mean, I don't give a fuck if people run with it or not. Cause the artists, people who is actually popping and people who actually are popping in New York as artists, they know what I've done to help music in this city, artists in this city, even before Apple Music, and even more so since I've been at Apple Music. Most people don't even know, because they talking about Hot 97. They don't even know that I'm on Apple Music every day at 3 o'clock.
They think you're done. They're like, oh, cool, we got Ebro out of here.
They're gonna see this video like, yo.
I didn't know. I sure didn't know he had a job at Apple Music. Yeah, man, salute Ebro, man. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like, so, yeah, I don't really consider that a failure. Him exiting off of Hot 97. Listen, you guys, especially independent artists, you looking at hip hop coming back to its original form. You looking at hip hop leaving syndicated radio, DJs that have been, at the forefront of hip hop, losing their shows, and AI on the rise, AI singers, and of course they gonna try that AI rap again too, coming to the forefront. Don't be afraid of it, not one single solitary bit. Keep in mind that hip hop started there. Hip hop is like, it's like mold, man. It's this nasty, grungy, stinky shit that was growing up underneath, some wet, dark place. And eventually it just took over the whole house, you know what I mean? And it wasn't nothing you could do about it, besides burn the house down, you know what I'm saying? But in this case, a good mold, hip hop comes from the shadows, broken glass everywhere. People pissing in the corner, man, they just don't care. Can't take the smell, can't take the noise. Hip hop comes from underneath a rock. Go back to the 1970s and look at the landscape of New York City. Kids was outside playing on pissy mattresses in the middle of buildings that were demolished down to rubble. These is kids outside playing in construction zones that were unfenced and open to public. These was kids' playgrounds. And those kids was black kids, Hispanic kids, and some poor white kids. And that's where hip hop came from. So I'm not afraid at all when I see stuff like, Ebro getting put off air and, things kind of coming back around to, being more hand to hand, more face to face. It's right where you want to be if you're independent. It's right where you need to be if you're independent. All right. The people who should be worrying are the people that are signed to record labels, because you're signed to these contracts with companies that are dissolving partnerships and they're firing executives, and they're selling their themselves and their catalogs to other record labels that are acquiring them. Yeah, that's who should be worried, and I feel like as a independent artist, dude, like, this is my time. I'm walking into an era where, artists like me, we really get to just flare out and really get to surface, and the music really gets heard. No smoke and mirrors, no clouded top tens full of the same garbage. There's a thing called rap fatigue now, because people tired of the same, I'm fucking your bitch, I'm fucking your bitch, I'm fucking your bitch. People tired of it. It's trash, so, and that's what Ebro kind of represents with his brand of hosting, and I appreciate that. So yeah, a silver lining in that firing right there, I would have to say. Yeah. What else is going on that musical forefront? Something else that brought my attention, 50 Cent's documentary once again is kind of stirring the pot a little bit. Again, not a little bit, a lot. I think it's safe to say that the nation has been watching this closely, and it's kind of just turned into an entire situation. I guess on a show called Let's Rap About It, 50 Cent was brought up amongst those hosts, and those hosts on that show are Jim Jones, Jim Jones, Dave East, Mano, and Fabulous. So on that show, the guys were talking about, hey, how do you feel about this documentary 50 done on Puff, and do you think that was, something that is fair to do? How's he able to just do a documentary about somebody like this, and putting this man's business out here like that? And that's what the guys on the show were talking about. So then 50 responded to them and saying, hey, you guys are bums in the first place. You guys is inside of a building that's your studio that you're shooting your podcast from, and you owe the landlord about $250,000. Landlord said they owed him about $250,000, So then the guys have Mano responds back to 50 Cent, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes on Angela Yee Angela Yee asked him, he said, I don't know what he's talking about, which, kind of looked a little ambiguous, kind of looked like, he might be, with some information. Somebody asked me if I paid my rent. I'm gonna be like, man, my rent is paid. You know what I'm saying? Proudly. Yeah, I don't know. And then I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But teach his own. Who knows? I don't know if Mano has anything to do with the bills. He may just be the guy that handles sound or handles some one part of the aspect of that show. Let's rap about it. But man, that documentary has got folks ticking. So let's see what they're talking about a little bit with that exchange between 50 and those four hosts. I hate that Fab is in the middle of that, by the way, too, because Fab and Dave East too, like they're dudes that you really don't see them on the landscape battling with anybody. Don't know a lot about Mano, but I definitely like his brand. But he too is somebody I don't see battling with nobody. But he's somebody that's like, you push me, I'm a shove back, type. But I hate that for Fab, man, because Fab is usually a cool dude from what I've seen throughout history. So
Hey yo, what's good? It's too early in the morning for this, but we back with another one. The 50 Cent
by way of All Urban Central, even though I hate this dude's voice right now.
Mano and Jim Jones podcast beef is in full petty mode. Now, if you thought 50 Cent was done beefing with New York legends, nah, he just took it to a whole new level. So last night, Mano and Jim Jones took to Instagram. 50 Cent must have saw this right when he woke up at 5 a.m. because he went on full demon mode when he woke up. This time, 50 Cent posted audio proof on Instagram, backing up his claims that Jim Jones and Mano's podcast is allegedly being run out.
Fine, right? He's been saying this for since October. And so he keeps trying to build it, but he won't sign the lease. He's like, I don't like these terms. I want 6 months of build out and ridiculous bullshit. We also have a partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half the company. He's not a business. He's insane. To me, it's worth very little to nothing. But if it works out for you, I just throw that in as a sweetener. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is he signed a lease with me. Right now he owes, I'm going to say it in a short way, at least $80,000, if not $180,000. The monthly rent on the old lease, not this.
So yes, it looks like the squatter.
Okay, enough of that dude's voice. So 50, when they first, and I'll correct myself, he responds back like, you guys are squatters. You guys are in this building and ain't paid rent and ain't paid XYZ. And then they respond back to 50, Mano especially. And then 50 responds with this, the actual conversation with the landlord. And the landlord is saying that we have an agreement between us where not only are they to pay rent and to be paying for other things, dealing with this building, because apparently this building is set up as like a media operation of sorts. I've seen another clip where Jim Jones is kind of walking through the warehouse and showing you different things, and he's kind of talking stuff. So I guess they're recording music there, they're shooting the podcast there, and probably doing a lot of other media related things. So it looks like the landlord had the understanding that they are underneath a partnership as well as a lease signing, and he is to have ownership of the rights of some of their podcasts and other created intellectual stuff and properties within that building. So 50, of course, is looking to buy that portion from underneath them. And the landlord's like, I don't know what it's worth, but you can have it. To me, it's not worth anything. So, yeah, 50 is probably buying it out of spite, more than likely. But nonetheless, this is a tactic, you know what I mean? And this is it's unfortunate to be here if you're Jim Jones and all of them, because 50 buys it, then he owns a piece of your intellectual catalog with your podcast and whatever other things you're creating in there, which could be from music to um, whatever else you're making in that building. So it's an art of war tactic for sure. And these brothers, I just feel like the part about them speaking on the documentary, um, I understand them asking. First of all, anybody can make a documentary about anybody, and you don't have to have the sources involved. First of all, TMZ, if anybody teaches you that, Harvey Levin will tell you. I mean, they make documentaries every freaking week. Look at the Diddy situation; they made about 5 of them, 4 or 5. So they didn't need permission. They didn't need to sit down with Diddy. They didn't need to have any kind of bad boy imprint involved. You can make a documentary about whoever you want. And yes, that does mean that you can dictate the narrative. Yes, it does. You just hope that those people are telling the truth. But nonetheless, I feel like them brothers probably shouldn't have spoke on that. And another thing, if they were going to speak on it, I feel like what's unfortunate about speaking on the 50 Cent documentary is why come nobody is speaking if it's about, Dame Dash, it's a black man tearing down a black man. These brothers at the podcast, man, telling this man's business. Ain't nobody yet said though about the violated black folks involved. And I think that's the biggest bullshit. Like everybody's quick to say what 50 shouldn't have done. This is wrong. Man, what about all the folks, the line of people? What about, the girl that was kidnapped and took the kid cutties? And what about all the times that old girl, what's her name, got her ass whooped and she got gashes in her head? And, what about the people that woke up, drugged and felt, like their bodies had been played with? And nobody got nothing to say about that though, right? That's just, don't tell that business. You shouldn't have told that business. Rug sweep it. Man, if he ends up buying that podcast, y'all might have earned it. Y'all might have earned 50 as a partner. Yep. You might have earned him as a partner.
I just tell the truth. And telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies.
Ain't it though? Like, y'all might have earned y'all enemy as a board member, as a partner, as a half owner. So, boy, if I'm one of them dudes, I'm going to just sell it all. Just go ahead here. Well, take it then, man. Like a chest pass. Ugh. You know what I'm saying? And then go into the next venture and just, watch my mouth. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. I like all the guys involved pretty much. If I don't listen to their music, I appreciate them for their business in music. But yeah, man, kind of like Marlon Wayans, coming out and talking about, same thing with him, coming out talking about the documentary and 50, stepping on somebody when they down. And Marlon Wayans' brothers, the Keenan Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans and all them, they turned around and told him like days later, hey man, shut your ass up. If you're gonna talk about somebody, man, talk about somebody that ain't got shot 9 times. Talk about somebody who is not in battle mode like this. And this is the Wayans brothers telling their little brother, shut your mouth, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna take on 50 in a public internet forum and think you're gonna win or disgrace him. He is built on this format of marketing. 50 has mastered it. He came into the business with it. How to rob. I'll refer you to that. So yeah, man. Pretty crazy situation. That documentary's got brothers, talking and yes, that's what documentaries are supposed to do. They're supposed to make people talk and think. I get it. But you want to keep your mouth off of some things and some people. And you want to put your mouth on the shit that really is wrong, the shit that's really fucked up. Everybody is like, yeah, you black man, tearing down another black man. I understand that, man. And I'm definitely one that stands by, the idea of not tearing down another black man. But this is a black man that tore down a lot of black folks. What about them? Why you niggas ain't said nothing about that? What if it's your sister? Get out of here. So, your enemy become your partner. You earned it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to move into the final situation, which is sports. Spokes. We do not have Jerome Murphy tonight, but that is okay. That brother is resting, but I got a sports story for you. And this sports story, man, it's an amazing story, man. It's an amazing story. And I hope that that myself will get a chance to this is a sports story where you may be with the opportunity to participate in your real life and setting. Okay. And what is this story about? This story is about none other than the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. And what's going on with Michael Jordan? Well, they are trying to make Michael Jordan's Chicago estate into a museum. Oh my God. If they do that, dude, I gotta be there. I gotta go there. I gotta go there a few times. I gotta feel the energy. I gotta walk through the house. So, but here's what's going on here in Chicago with the legislation and the local legislation and how they're trying to make that possible for the community. I hope they can do it, man. I really do.
New tonight at 10. Imagine Michael Jordan's former mansion in Highland Park as a tourist attraction. The new owner wants to open the Highland Park estate to the public for fans to enjoy the property and the amenities inside and all around it. Kind of like Graceland, Elvis's former home in Memphis. NBC5's Jen Shantz with the story tonight.
In order to make his vision a reality for MJ's former mansion, the new owner would need the city to approve a zoning change. Tonight, for the first time, he presented his ideas for Champions Point.
Champions Point has the potential to become a world-class museum, uniting people from all ages and backgrounds under a common purpose, to explore what it means to be great in life.
Anticipating 300 visitors per day, owner John Cooper's vision relies heavily on cooperation from the Park District, to which he would give 5% of ticket sales. His proposal, which the mayor likened to a Graceland, also includes 48 days a year of free community programming, about 13% of its operating time.
When your neighbors bought their homes, this was a residential area, continues to be zoned residentially. The other 87% you're not really talking about.
City leaders worried about the impact to nearby Helen Nature Center, which Cooper would potentially use as a drop-off site for his shuttle, so guests could walk to the mansion. A line of skeptical neighbors making their feelings heard, some sharing their dislike for parties Cooper hosted at the mansion over the summer.
Loud music, heavy traffic, buses, and hundreds of strangers entering a quiet residential enclave.
So we hear the noise, and we're burdened by this as well.
And a couple of supporters, including a woman who brought a group of Chicago youth to the property earlier this year to play on the basketball court.
This project not only celebrates the legacy of a Chicago icon, but also brings economic growth and opportunity.
Tonight, the first step in a lengthy process.
I'm not optimistic about this.
The council skeptically agreeing to keep the door open for more conversation, and that means more public input. In Highland Park, Jen Shantz, NBC5 News.
Could be interesting.
Want to be like Mike?
Now every second counts. But how does Second Save get ideas made so far?
My bad. So, yeah,
A postal
they trying.
employee arrested for stealing mail. The woman.
I don't know why it didn't stop. So they trying to take and turn Michael Jordan's house into a museum. Dude, man, if they do that, man, that would just be one of the most amazing things, wouldn't it? Jeez. So I'm praying that they do that, because it looks like they already have a lot of, They already have a lot of folks standing against them. Of course, you best believe whenever it's, black culture at the bottom of it, it's going to be a fight. If this was, Jerry Lee Lewis's house or one of Elvis's houses, we wouldn't be having an in-depth discussion with the neighbors and the loud kids that came by on the bus to go play on the court. It would just be an of course. But anything worth having is worth fighting for. So, and I hope that them folks fight for it. So if I see a petition or anything come across where I can sign it, even though I'm out of state, I'm signing it. Michael Jordan's house, if nobody can afford to buy it, it needs to be owned and operated by the state as a museum entity, a place to go and walk where Jordan walked. Okay? Go and be in rooms that Jordan resided in. What other opportunity do you have in the country where you can say you can get that? I don't think you have that anywhere else. You can do it in many different museums, and those are museums that cater to all different cultures and experiences. You can go and do it in Elvis's estate. I've done it. I went to Elvis's house and I walked through the house. I walked through Elvis's plane. I remember like yesterday, Elvis had the gold toilet and the gold sink. That was crazy. But yes, this is Jordan. Do it. And not just that, it's going to be a straight line of impact to black youth. Don't let the house sit there and break down. And and I know the city's got to come up with a solution soon, because just for that house to be open and up and operating, imagine the maintenance, that house cost monthly. I can only imagine, the lawn alone. There's like a pool that sits like dead in the middle of the lawn in the backyard, and it's just crazy. It's like a pool out on this little island. I don't think they showed it in that clip, but man, go ahead and make that place a museum, man, so little kids can come on in there and people from all different states and cities can come in there and get some of that good energy. Shout out to them pushing that. We need that. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get to the comments real quick just to see. I know I missed a lot. They wasn't throwing them on the screen like normal, and I wasn't able to get to them. Slice says Jim Jones is a beast. Slice, no, he's not. I love you, but he's not. It came out in 2002. Guess Who's Back? Yeah, I think he's talking about Guess Who's Back. And yes, he is. And guess Who's Back came out on Full Clip Records. Okay. I was wondering, I didn't know if it came out on Columbia or where it came out from, but okay. Yeah, man. Just checking them comments. Yeah, Slice. He's not. I'm sorry. Last time I can say, I was taking in Jim Jones, like, musically balling. That summer, Ballin' came out. Ballin', we ride, slide. This. I was rocking with that summer. And Jim Jones got one other song, Emotionless, that I liked. And that was really it, man. I rocks with Cam, man. Cam is the truth out of them dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, man. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And you got some good hip hop for sure. You know what I'm saying? I know how you know what I mean? If you ain't, Jim Jones, you Tech Nine, good. I normally love all the stuff that you be representing. Yuck. Man, I love Yuck Mouth, man. I've been rocking with Yuck Mouth since Godzilla. Godzilla's alive. Godzilla, call the president. Wait, call the. Oh, yeah, Godzilla was my album, dude. I spent the summer with that album. But Jones is a big trash bag. I'm sorry, man. That's my personal, fan perspective. But nonetheless, you guys, man, I appreciate everybody that showed up. Who's in the building right now? If you're in the building right now, like I said, I got a special gift that I'm gonna send you because we threw this show up tonight, and this show was just purely off of Instagram notifications. All right. So I'm gonna put that number up. Oh, they got it up. Thank you. And regime mob. Absolutely, man. The regime. Who's in the building tonight? Go ahead and leave that in the chats. If you're in the building tonight, say, yo, I pulled up in the building. Leave that in the chats. And then hit that number right there down below, the CrossFaded hotline. It's right there. There. Yeah, there. Right below. 509-317-509-0464. 317-509-0464. Just hit that line. 317-509-0464. Just hit that line. I'm going to send you a Christmas gift. All right. I'm looking at it now. I ain't going to tell you what it is. It's just going to be a dope Christmas gift that you're going to get, right in time for Christmas, because I really appreciate those that showed up. So text that line that you was here, that you was in the building and you showed up just off of pure notifications. It's that line at the bottom of the screen. It's gone right now, but we're going to bring it right back. 317-509-0464. Hit that line. I'm going to send you a Christmas gift. Slice, I got y'all. I know you was one of the ones. And I'm doing this because we didn't send a mass message like we usually do. Normally, when I give gifts, I put them on the wheel and then give everybody the opportunity to get that gift. So hit that line, 317-509-0464, with your address, your name, and we're going to send you a gift. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please, please, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Omega Classic Records is the page and the name. I thank you for tuning in. I will be seeing you before Christmas for show. What's today? Today is the 19th. Maybe I won't be seeing you before Christmas. Ooh, let me double check that. Let me check that. Yeah, Christmas is the next Thursday, so I may not be seeing you guys until next year, which would be January the 1st, which is New Year's. So you may be seeing me New Year's. I may try to slide down on y'all on a Tuesday or something. Just keep an eye on your notifications that are your YouTube notifications, and keep an eye out on the mass text. I may try to slide on you guys one more time before the end of this year, sometime like maybe the 23rd, right before Christmas. I might give away a couple of things because I had a pair of kicks that I wanted to give away before Christmas. So that may be, a little part of a little something. But yeah, man, make sure that you tune in. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Omega Classic Records is the page and the name. Omega Classic Records TV. All right. Love y'all. Peace. Be easy. Speak easy. Keep it off the heezy. Make sure it's for sheezy. Please believe me. Yeah, I was trying to put something else behind that, but I'm out. I got to roll. Oh, this is way too much. See y'all next time, man. All right. Peace.
It's not just music, it's classic.